Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. My name is Ginger Pierce, and I'm one of the travel agents with Marvelous Mouse Travels. We are the agency that runs this Facebook group, along with several others that are focused on different destinations. Welcome to Sundays with MMT. This is a weekly live agent panel video series that we do in one of our Facebook groups every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we're really excited to be here in this group tonight to talk to you about Royal Caribbean's Alaskan itineraries. We have a group of agents who just returned from a training trip with Royal Caribbean, and so they have a lot of information to share with you. We are using a platform called StreamYard to go live this evening, and we always love it when people interact with us and ask questions and make comments. So if you want to participate, you might be asked by StreamYard to approve it to display your username and profile picture. Just know that you can decline that permission. You can still interact with us anonymously, and we would love to talk with you. I am joined tonight by 4 of our marvelous agents. So thank you so much to everybody for joining us tonight. And I am going to have everybody introduce themselves. We're going to let our friend Craig go first. No big deal, but Craig is having some camera difficulties. So he is the blank screen that you see, but he's very handsome in real life, I promise you. So just imagine like Brad Pitt and you got it.
Yeah, right. Hi, I'm Craig Engstrom. I'm coming to you from Wisconsin. I've been with the agency. This is my 7th year already, and you can reach me by emailing me at craig@marvelousmousetravels.com.
Hi, I'm Michelle Bernard, and I've been with the agency for 6.5 years. I'm here in Florida, and you can reach me at michelle.bernard@marvelousmousetravels.com.
Hi, I'm Jesse Fouts. I've been with the agency for 4.5 years, and you can reach me at jesse.fouts@marvelousmousetravels.com.
Hi, everyone. I'm Cody Thomas. I'm the newbie. I joined Marvelous Mouse in June of 2022. You can reach me at linktree/cruisingcody.
And again, my name is Ginger. I've been with the agency just over 4 years, and the best way to reach out to me is to visit my blog, which you can find at gingermmt.com. So everybody, let's kind of, I guess, start from the top when we're talking about your Alaskan cruise experience. And let's explain for everybody what ship you sailed on for this trip.
We sailed on the Radiance of the Seas, which is one of the Radiance class 4 ships. That our particular ship launched in 2001. So the ship is about 21 years old, but it's a beautiful ship and it's a perfect ship for sailing into Alaska. And I think some others can agree for this. One of the things about Radiance of the Seas and any other Radiance class ship is they have more glass than any other class of ships, just because you want to be able to see the scenic sights, especially when you're in these little cruise passages in Alaska and through the glaciers. Just makes it a great ship. So.
Yeah.
One of the other features about Radiance of the Sea and ships within its class is they are kind of on the smaller size, and that's specifically so they can get into some of the ports that the larger ships can't. So you actually get more experiences by being on Radiance of the Seas and similar ships.
Yeah, that's a great point. So talk to me a little bit about the staterooms. I know the ship itself is smaller. Did you feel like the staterooms were smaller than some of the other Royal Caribbean ships?
Well, I traveled on the Freedom and also the Independence within the last year or so. And I actually had the same size rooms that I had on those ships. It was the spacious ocean view balcony room. And it actually was the same size, which I was a little surprised at because of the fact it was a smaller ship. But we actually had a balcony off the back end on the aft end of the ship, which was kind of fun to see where we had been.
Yeah.
So I didn't see any difference in the room size.
And we had an ocean view room, and I don't think it was much smaller at all. I mean, with all my suitcases, it didn't.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think 2 girls sharing a room would be a challenge, but we did just fine.
We made it work.
Well, but you weren't rooming with Jesse, and Jesse brought enough clothes for the both of us.
Well, it's Alaska. You don't know what to expect.
That's true. That's very.
I left with 2 bags in a backpack, and I came home with 3 bags in a backpack. So
There is no shame in that. That is
There you
okay.
go. There's method behind my madness. Okay, so first of all, you got to have options, like somebody
Right.
just said. I mean, the weather can turn on a dime if it's going to be rainy or if it's going to be colder. Even though you're going to Alaska this summer, you're going to expect temperatures in the 50s and 60s. Especially when you're farther north you go, that can happen. But also, it's fun to take your dirty clothes and pack them into a separate bag and keep your clean clothes clean. So when you get home, you have an organized system. So there you go.
Yep.
I think Jesse really nailed the point as far as you really just don't know what the weather is going to be, because we went, I think, the week before, Jesse and Craig, and it was perfect and 70 degrees, sunshine. And then I think you guys had a little bit of a different experience the following week.
Yeah, it was cloudy. It was pretty cold. We had rain every day. But honestly, it didn't matter to me at all. I just, primarily because I did dress for the weather, because I knew that we would be probably running into that kind of weather. So it just, everything about the cruise was so breathtaking that it didn't matter if it was raining or not.
Yeah.
I don't know if you would agree with me, Jesse, on that, but
Absolutely.
I didn't care.
And we don't call it cloudy or rainy. We call it Alaskan sunshine. So just so you know, it's Alaskan sunshine. But I think one of the most interesting things is that, even if it is overcast or even if it is rainy, your scenes can change. And I think that also adds to the allure of just what you're looking at, the mist and the mountains when you see the backdrop, the hue of the icebergs. You will see they are deeper blue when it's cloudier outside instead of when it's really sunshiny, you see it's a little more brighter. So I mean, there's ups and downs, right? So
yeah, for sure.
On the positive side.
And I would think that on an Alaskan cruise in particular, that having an ocean view stateroom or a balcony stateroom would probably be even more important, maybe even than one of the Caribbean itineraries, because those views are why you're there, right? You want to have,
Unlike the Caribbean, you see water on both sides of you. You see mountains and glaciers, and so I definitely suggest a window of some sort.
Every second is a different view and a different experience, so you don't want to miss any of it.
I do want to share one thing, and I don't know if... Okay, so I was back changing in the room, and a whale started swimming off the balcony, off the back of the ship.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I kind of forgot that I was standing there in my t-shirt and underwear, and I went out on the balcony and took pictures. And there was a boat coming around the corner.
Oh no!
So I don't think anybody saw me, but I don't know. So anyway, I do have pictures of a whale behind our ship, but you can't tell what I'm wearing.
Yeah. So if Craig is not invited back on any further Royal Caribbean PAMs, you know why, right?
This is the real reason his camera's off. I just want you to know this.
Yes. Exactly.
He's in his whale outfit.
And I would say, to just touching on that point, having the view where, it does kind of matter more than, say, what you would get in the Caribbean or the Bahamas, is that one of your sea days is going to be a visit to the glaciers. So it's actually going to be a different type of it's not going to be at port. Now, they will have some excursions where a boat will tender alongside of the ship and you can get off and pay for those excursions. But it's really an at-sea day. Unfortunately, we did not get to go to the glacier just because there was some bad weather. We were scheduled to go to Hubbard Glacier on the last day of our itinerary. But I think Michelle and Cody, you did get to go to the glacier. Is that correct?
We did. And we thought it was going to be a rainy day at first. So we bundled up in all our layers, hats, gloves, you name it. We went up to the top deck and we started peeling those layers off because it was like 74 degrees.
Yeah, it was warm. But the view is beautiful. And one of the features about going to these glaciers is the ship will actually do a complete 360. It usually takes, I think, about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Mhm.
So you really can see it from anywhere. But it's that first moment when they, pull up to the glacier and everybody races to the top and wants, all those photos. So
Yeah.
we have, of course, had to partake.
Yeah, of course. So let's talk a little bit about some of the onboard activities on the Radiance of the Seas. So what was there to do on those at-sea days, other than, of course, take in the beautiful scenery?
I think.
Go ahead, Cody.
Jesse.
No, please.
Okay. One of the things that's always fun, especially with Royal Caribbean excursions or itineraries, is their evening activities. They always have some kind of show or entertainment, but they also have smaller activities where they really get the crew or the people on board involved, and they've got these games, and it's just silly and fun. And I think one of ours, somebody had like pantyhose stuck to their head with a ball, and they were trying to knock over solo cups. And so there's always fun stuff like that. I think there was a Finish the Lyrics like game show, which was super entertaining.
Awesome.
Some people got really into it. So
Trivia,
I really enjoy
scavenger hunts.
Yeah.
Nice.
We saw a game show. It was a marriage.
Oh,
yeah.
Love and Marriage.
Yeah,
Love and
where they
Marriage.
would kind of ask if each other certain things, and they had to match each other, kind of like the dating
The
game.
newlywed game.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely hilarious, by the
It
way.
was funny.
So
Oh, yeah.
funny. The one of the things we saw, or that you could do on the ship, there's a climbing wall. That is open even. Well, obviously, during more inclement weather, you'll just have to check for your times to see when it's open and make an appointment on the cruise planner to go up to climb. If you are traveling with teenagers or children, you have the Adventure Ocean, which is on, and then of course they have a teens only disco area, optics. And then you also have you actually have a kid's pool too, which again, that's pretty neat to have. Right.
Yeah.
So we activity wise, they were teaching people to do the Thriller dance. So I just stood back and tried to do my best, but I did not do it. I did not get down there on the floor.
Tried.
Activity wise, I think one of the things that they do very well is that, there's always something going on in some different form of entertainment and multi forms. So if, Finish the Lyrics is not for you, but listening to some classical jazz is, they might have somebody playing jazz, and they'll if you go to Schooner's Bar and Lounge, piano entertainment in the evening. So it kind of varies, and that's one of the great things. You don't have to go. It's your vacation, your decision. You decide what you want to go do, but they have activities for you all throughout the cruise.
Perfect.
Yeah, one other. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Craig.
One other activity that they have, and a lot of people enjoy this, is there is a casino. And Jesse experienced the casino and actually brought money.
Yes, I did.
And it was, and I don't like casinos, but I enjoy watching people. And he was so exciting to watch because you'd never played roulette before, had you?
So it's funny. I've never actually played roulette. I've been to Vegas multiple times, but I've always been so afraid to play because you're playing more high stakes. And I decided to sit down. I gave myself a limit. I said, okay, I'm going to play with this amount. I was 3 bets in. I ended up betting $5 on the number 17, and I won a couple $100. So, it was there. I got up, I cashed out, and I walked out. I said, I'm not losing my money. So, but yeah.
But that is a good point. It's not they have lower stake tables, which is kind of nice to know, because I know, I think, Jesse, you had said that a lot of places that you go there, the minimums are a lot higher than what it was here. So
it was a $5 minimum bet on roulette, which again, you have not 50-50 chances of winning. You have a 30% chance of winning if you're playing in, a color or something. So it's, it was fun, and if I would have lost, it would have still been fun, right?
Right.
But
It's maybe not as fun.
Not
Yeah.
as fun.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
A lot of people ask about the pools on Alaska Cruise. And the one feature about these ships in Alaska is they actually have a covering that goes over the pools to keep the temperature really nice inside and the experience for swimming great. So
Awesome.
that's definitely an exciting feature when you're in Alaska to be able to still swim or
Yeah.
enjoy the solarium, the adults only solarium. So
For sure. Definitely. So let's talk a little bit about the food situation. So, of course, that's a big part of a cruise. What were some of your favorite things that you tried on board?
everything.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
Cody and I seem to find the buffet every couple hours.
Yeah,
Make
it
sure
was like a 2
good.
hours, and then you eat again.
Nice.
One thing
And then we would head to dinner.
yeah, right, and then start over again.
Yeah, midnight,
One thing that Jesse and I decided to do was they have different dinner packages that you can buy.
Mhm.
And one of them was a 3-night for their fine dining locations. We just Jesse made a point that, it'd be kind of nice for us to have a little bit of a background on these other
Mhm.
restaurants. So we did that. And Jesse, would you agree that the food at those places was pretty amazing?
Oh man, yes, absolutely. I think, because I know you do not have to buy specialty dining of any sorts in
No.
order to have a great cruise and then get your fill of wonderful food.
Right.
But I think if you're a foodie, if you're somebody who wants a little more of a better experience dining, and again, you're going to get a great experience in main dining, you're going to get a great experience in Windjammers, Park Cafe, wherever you're going. But I think the specialty dining is just taking it up a notch, and it really is, it's the service, the food, fantastic. We ate at Giovanni's one of the evenings, which is Italian. We ate at Samba, which is a Brazilian steakhouse on board, and then we ate at Chops Grill our last night. I'm torn between Samba's and Chops Grill just because both had excellent food. I think I might give the edge to Samba because it was, I don't know if you've been to a Brazilian steakhouse before. This one's a little different setup, but oh my goodness, I could have just kept eating until they rolled me out on a stretcher. It was so good. And the marinated strip loin to the lamb chop. Yes, we had lamb. It was all fantastic. And, we left there thinking we can't eat anymore, but it was just so good.
But then we did eat some more.
Yes, this is true.
And you can, right? Like that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it.
You're on a cruise, and one of the so we met an individual on the cruise, that we ended up having dining with pretty much every night. And he's a little younger than we are, and he's in his 20s, so his metabolism still actually works. It was just funny to hear him say, I'm on a cruise. I don't eat like this at home. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it. So he would order 2 desserts. He would order 3 entrees, And I'm not even joking. And you can. So when you go into specialty dining, you are not limited. That menu is for you. And I know a lot of people might think, okay, well, this is wasteful. And, and don't get me wrong, I might have a problem wasting, but this is your cruise. You've paid for it. Enjoy it. If you want to try the lobster biscuit and the crab cake, try them, eat a little bit of both. If you want 2 entrees, you can't decide. You don't have to decide. Get them both because you are not on a cruise every day,
Right.
Or every week. And you save for this. So do it. And I think they know this and they will even encourage you to get more than one.
Yeah.
If you can't make a decision, they're like, get them both and they'll bring both to you.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think one of the nice things about eating in like the main dining room opposed to the specialty dining is you do get the same, typically, you get the same like waiters or wait staff every single evening. And so they get to learn your preferences. And so they know, you want a Sprite and a hot tea when you arrive, and then you want creme brulee every night for dessert. Or it's kind of nice feeling
They
pampered
know you by
and
name.
knowing that they're taking care of you.
Absolutely.
So that helped me. That brought up another point. So I'm guessing, Michelle, Cody, you did a 5 o'clock or a 8 o'clock dining time, 5:30, 8 o'clock.
Yes.
So you
We
did a
did
set dining time. One of the things that is really great about Royal Caribbean is you can choose my time dining.
Mhm.
And actually, we were scheduled for the 5 o'clock dining. We got there on embarkation day. Craig had asked if we could switch to my time, and they were able to accommodate. With my time, we were able to just show up each night at whatever time. And one of the things too is if you do end up eating with somebody at my time, you can actually go back, and they do, even though you're going on my time, you can get seated with a party that you've met. So if you didn't come on the cruise and you met somebody, you want to go have dinner with them, you can show up for my time dining, and they'll get you a table available. We didn't have a problem at all going for my time. In fact, it was kind of funny. The first night we did it, we saw the line for the 5 o'clock, or sorry, I think it was a 5 o'clock, and then the my time line, and we walked up and passed all these people. It was kind of felt bad, but it was good. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. So let's talk a little bit about your itinerary specifically. So, obviously Alaskan cruises tend to be a little bit more of an investment and everything than maybe some of the other, Caribbean itineraries and things like that. But what is it about an Alaskan itinerary that you think makes it a great choice?
We were on different itineraries. We were the week before.
Mhm.
So Cody and I Cody came to Tampa, and we flew out of Tampa together. Had a layover in Atlanta and a very long flight to Anchorage. And we spent the night in Anchorage, and we got up that morning, and we got to take the train to Seward, which was an amazing experience.
Amazing.
And
Yeah.
I'll start out by saying that Alaska was never really on my to-do list. Like, if it came around type of thing. But as we got closer and closer, I got a little more excited about seeing it. And I'm so glad I went. So we took the train. We were in the glass cars with the glass top. Breakfast was included. All our drinks were included. We saw all kinds of wildlife on the side going to Seward. And then we boarded the ship in Seward. From there, Cody probably knows the itinerary better than I do. I was just like, let's do this, let's do that. Because where Jesse and Craig, I think, spent more time on, spending their money on dining, we spent our money on excursions and shopping.
That's
Typical
fair
girl
assumption.
fashion.
We ate the free food.
So
And we ate the free food, and then we did the excursions, and we did some shopping at every port.
Yeah, I'll do a brief overview, and then Craig, if you want to kind of explain how your itinerary differed. So we started with Hubbard Glacier, and then the following day did Juneau. The day after that, it was Skagway, and we did, what was the little stop, Michelle?
Alaska Icy Point.
Yeah, Icy Strait Point. But before that, after Skagway, we had a short stop. Unfortunately,
it was
we got
Haynes.
there a little late.
It was Haynes.
Haynes, correct, yeah.
It was close,
Next day was
so-
Icy Strait Point, and then our last stop was Ketchikan before we ended in Vancouver. So I think you guys had a little bit of a different itinerary.
Yeah, absolutely. Craig, if you want to explain.
Sure. We started in Vancouver and went to Juneau first, and then Icy Strait Point, and then Sitka, and then Skagway, and then we ended in Seward.
Mhm.
And then, of course, we did the same train, but going up to Anchorage.
Mhm.
So it was just the backwards, the loop that they do continually at
Mhm.
ship.
And you could do the same itinerary back to back to back to back and still do different things in every port, whether you're paying for excursions or going on your own, and see a different experience every single time that you go.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because there were quite a few that we had met on our ship that were actually doing the full loop.
Yep. So they
Yeah,
were
I
going
mean-
back to back to make it a 14-day
Mhm.
versus just because of the itinerary changes and then going back to certain places. And one of the things I would say, what, you ask why choose Alaskan itinerary, because I think, whereas the Caribbean or the Bahamas, and you're getting those relaxation, and you do some excursions off the beaten path. But I think for Alaska, it's a lot of adventure
Mhm.
excursion, a lot of things that are just different, like whale watching.
Mhm.
We hiked the glacier, Mendenhall Glacier. We hiked trails and went up to a special waterfall, and it was probably my favorite moment of this cruise. I mean, it's one of my top moments of any of the travel I've ever done, just because it was so breathtaking. But having the ability to see these smaller towns and just walk in, and it's a whole different feel.
There's like history there, and you know it.
Yeah.
You know,
Culture.
they tell you that a lot of the buildings in these towns are old barracks from when Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, and the troops were sent there, and was in, I want to say, Skagway. The troops helped build the railroad there, and some of the railroad cars that are there are from that time that still run. They can't get parts for them, but they have one guy who makes the parts for them, who's getting ready to retire. So he's training a couple other ones, but he makes parts to fix these cars so that they can run. And there's just so much history there between that and just the views. One of my favorite excursions, we saw the bears in the wild, like fishing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not something I see every day. Cody might, but I don't see it every day. So that was one of my favorite things. And with these itineraries, you can also add on a land portion to it.
Yeah.
So you can do, back to back plus a land portion where you're doing some other things. It's just, there's so much to do.
Yeah.
I think that it's really important to know that if you're doing an Alaska cruise, you're going to want to take advantage of everything you possibly can. The hiking and all of that outside was phenomenal. These excursions that they have set up for you are some of the best money I've spent on anything. I mean, this was a bucket list for me, and I get choked up because not everybody gets a chance to do this. And if this is a bucket list kind of trip for you, you need to save for it because it is a life-changing experience for sure. And these excursions, I went with the anticipation of not spending a lot of money. And I did spend more than I thought I was going to on the excursions, but I mean, it was well worth every penny that I spent on them. I mean, one of my bucket list things was to see a whale. I saw whales. I saw sea lions. I saw sea otters. And I mean, we saw moose running around, I mean, just the things that you don't get to see in anywhere around here. So I highly, highly recommend taking advantage of the history. Oh my gosh, the gold rush, 1997, I'm not the biggest history buff, but I'll tell you, it just is so intriguing, all of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would just point out one thing too on the Alaskan itineraries. You do need to make sure and pay attention because there are one-way itineraries like we did, where we went from Vancouver to Anchorage, and then you did Anchorage to Vancouver. One of the very important things is to know that there are itineraries that do loops as well. We were on board with a couple who did not know that they had booked a one-way. So they had to book flights while they were on the cruise to get from Anchorage to Vancouver.
Wow.
So that's a good reason to use a travel agent too.
Yeah.
And that you would need a passport.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because when you're flying in and out of Canada, you need a passport. So if you do an itinerary, say out of Seattle, that goes back to Seattle, that's a whole different ballgame. So you really need to know what you're doing on the itineraries because they're not just like going out of Miami, back to Miami, out of Port Canaveral, back to Port Canaveral.
Yeah. And that, I'm glad you brought that up because, that is something that we ask every time we do one of these sessions is why book with an agent. And those are great reasons why. And I think we would also add the fact that it doesn't cost you any extra to book with an agent, but you do have someone who's going to make sure that you don't wind yourself in a situation like that poor couple who was like, oh my, we've really
Yeah.
messed up, and now we have to pay whatever flights cost to
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
home, so yeah.
Yeah, and it was
Yes.
expensive.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
It was
it was not
really
cheap.
expensive.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Canada's not the US, so they have different rules going on right now.
Yeah.
So we had to wear masks in the airport. So I had to take one out of the room because
Yeah.
I not used to having the masks anymore. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
now
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you're right. Like, just on that point, if you're flying into Vancouver, you're going through customs.
Mhm.
So you also want to make sure to give yourself plenty of time. I flew up the day before because I did not want to have the headache of worrying about getting delayed.
Right.
Especially right now, that's
Mhm.
probably not one trip you want to make sure you're not going in the day of. I know sometimes schedules can get in the way, but that's another point. I think a travel agent will advise you, give
Mhm.
yourself plenty of time. They can help you find a room the night before. They can help you make sure you get in the time you need.
Mhm.
So you're not getting stuck at the airport through customs, waiting to get through customs and your ship's getting ready to depart. Those are things that can, be a costly decision,
Absolutely.
So definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. So one last question, and then we'll kind of wrap it up for the night. Obviously Royal Caribbean is not the only cruise line that cruises to Alaska, but why choose Royal Caribbean for your Alaskan cruise versus some of the other options?
Well, my first thing is staff on board is ridiculously good. I mean, they know your name, they know your likes, they know what you want, and they will stand and talk to you as long as you want to talk to them. So for me, that I appreciate most of all.
And they were very
What?
thankful that we were on board.
Mm-hmm.
They were
Yeah.
thanking us. I mean, we went to the show the last night and they had the cast come out plus all, people from the room staff, they had kitchen staff, and they're like thanking us, singing us a song, thanking us for being there. The dinner staff, they were, thanking us to coming and that they got to cook for us. They were really grateful that we were there and they were there helping. Like I didn't mention it here on live, but when we got to the ship, one of my bags got misplaced for about 24 hours and they had the whole ship looking for it. And when I went down to the desk to ask about it, if they had found it, they had me fill out some paperwork and like everything I needed was in it, like my deodorant, my toothpaste,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So they gave me something until, to see if I could find it. So I had deodorant, toothbrush, toothpaste, that type of stuff. Thankfully, they found it up on a different deck sitting, but
What?
they were so helpful in that.
Yeah.
One of the things I was really impressed by with Royal Caribbean is when we went to Skagway, they actually had recently had a landslide. And a lot of other cruise lines actually canceled their Skagway port because they couldn't get the people off the ship in a certain location. But Royal Caribbean still went there. They parked and then they transported their people to Skagway using their boats, using the smaller boats. And so I thought that was really something unique that Royal Caribbean said, we're not going to cancel this. We're going to continue to do it. We're going to find a way to make it happen for our
Mhm.
guests. So
Yeah.
they really do go out of their way.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I would
Even
echo.
I was going to say, when we left Skagway on our trip, we had a stop in Haines. And one of the trains was late coming back. So it delayed us by an hour or two from leaving. So when we got into Haines, pretty much everything was closed. So we didn't really need to stop there. But they did. And there was like, 2 bars open, a couple
Yeah,
of
they
gift
still
shops.
worked with the locals to make sure there was a bus to transport people and some places. There was a Hammer Museum that stayed open and shops and stuff. So they really did make it happen. It was amazing.
Yeah, I was going to say, why choose Royal Caribbean? I think that we've hit the nail on the head here. It's, you're getting, I think service is huge when you're cruising, just because, you might want to know why something's not happening, and they're so quick to answer questions, and they're very, very professional. If you lose your key, you don't have your sea pass, and you have to go get another one. They're very helpful for that reason. Your stateroom attendant, your wait staff, and I think that is for the money that you're getting the cruise for to what you're getting, I think is an extreme value, because you're getting the bang for your buck. You're not paying these exorbitant amounts to go on and feel like, oh, why did I do this? You're like, wow, I got to do this.
Yeah.
And you're going to be ready to book another one too. That's the thing. You get off and it's like, okay, when's my next Royal Caribbean cruise? I need to book another. So yes, absolutely. Service is huge for Royal Caribbean.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, the fact that if people want to know about this tour, I can't wait to share it with them, to tell them what they can do and what, and I can't wait to share my excitement with how it was with them and because of Royal Caribbean.
Absolutely. And, you guys mentioned the land tours that you can add. If you are interested in learning more about that, we actually have a video session that we did with a team of agents who was able to go on one of those land tours. So go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/marvelousmousetravels, and you can search Alaska land tours. And we have a whole session where we talked about that. So, that's great too, because Royal Caribbean does give you ways to even extend your vacation if you want to, despite all the things that they have for you to do on board and the great excursions. If you're like, oh, I want more, like, you can get more. And they think about everything, which is great.
Yeah, I want to share one thing. One of the people that we had met at the hot tub, he kind of goes stir crazy, this guy. So he was always really glad to get off the ship. He actually went golfing, and he explained that the golf course went up the side of the mountain.
Wow.
And so they stopped there were plateaus that they used, of course, for each hole. But they have a guide that was with them. And he said, okay, now you need to make sure that you don't slice. You have to make sure that you dogleg to the right. He said, because there's a bear living over on the left side.
Oh,
so
no.
make sure that you stay away from that side.
Yeah.
And there would happen to be a garbage can that there was some business going on over there, but but he won't bother you. They said he'll be just fine. They don't like the smell of humans anyway, and just stay to the right.
Yeah, they're not afraid of the bears there.
No, they aren't.
Because at least the brown bears, they told us that if we came across a brown bear when we were on our excursion, we just put our hands up and we say, "Go bear, go." Calmly.
There you go.
And I didn't try that out, but now they said that the brown bears were different than the black bears, because their brown bears are always full and the black bears aren't. So I don't know but yeah, just go bear, go. So they're not afraid of the bears there.
Well, I think we did have somebody that wanted to say hi, so we'll flash that comment up there. Hello. Thank you for watching.
Hi.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for watching, and thank you guys, agents, for being here. If you happen to come across this video on Facebook or YouTube and it's no longer live and you're like, oh, I wish I could have asked a question, you can still ask it. We do monitor these videos for comments even after they're no longer live. And again, if you joined us a little bit late and you would like to get information from any of the agents that you heard from this evening, all of their contact information is back at the beginning of the video. But we hope that you enjoyed watching with us. Keep in mind that it does not cost you any extra to book your cruise through one of our agents versus what you would pay to just go on Royal Caribbean's website and book it yourself. So we are here to help you and provide you with concierge level vacation planning services at no additional fee. So reach out to us for more information. But we thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you again really soon for another episode of Sundays with MMT. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.